On this episode of RVA Real Estate Talk, we will be talking about our new vlog that we're just now launching. We will be talking to Jonathan Millard of J Squared Interiors, and we will be doing a restaurant review of Pearly's downtown.
You're listening to RVA Real Estate Talk with Jared Davis and Galen Parker, your source for an honest, insightful look into Central Virginia's real estate market. Combined, Jared and Galen have over 20 years of experience in real estate, as well as hundreds of testimonials from clients past and present who rely on them for advice and assistance buying and selling a home in today's incredibly hot and competitive housing market. And now, your hosts, Jared Davis and Galen Parker.
That's right, I am Jared Davis.
Hey, yo, this is Galen Parker.
And we are here with RVA Real Estate Talk podcast, and we are sitting with Jonathan Miller. Why don't you give yourself an intro, Jonathan?
Thanks, guys, for having me today.
Yeah.
Jonathan Miller. I own J Squared Interior Staging Design here in the greater Richmond area, and we stage the homes. We get them ready, set, and sold for you.
Yeah, so we've been having some visitors here
it.
from time to time, so we thought a stager would be a very nice one to have. We're gonna
take the stage.
That's right.
We're gonna see what I did there?
I did. I heard that. We're gonna do some restaurant review for Pearly's, but we'll just catch up first. Galen, what have you been up to?
I've been doing pretty well. I was kind of stuck on the fact that the company's name is J Squared, and I love that because that seems like something I would have named a company. And I was like, J Squared. And that kind of made me really motivated to do something like that.
I'm going to need him to do an intro commercial from now on.
Hey, this is J Squared, Richmond's #1 premier serve for staging your homes.
You know, the thing is that I think sometimes it's a little overzealous, and then so you're like startled. You're like, huh.
No.
Here we go.
That's how you know they're
Here
awake.
we go.
That's right. See,
Here's
this is why
negativity.
Galen's on the podcast.
Here's
you hear
the
that voice?
negativity.
He's got that radio voice all day.
Negative Mike. Melancholy Mike bringing me down.
Melancholy Mike.
we give him a mic. I don't know why we're still letting him stay on the podcast.
I love Mike. Guys, I know you guys might get the impression just because I make fun of Mike a lot.
No, we
but
dislike
I really
him a lot.
Love
If
Mike.
only people knew
We
what
love
I
Mike.
have to go through to make you guys look good.
I think anyone who's met us for more than 5 seconds probably has a pretty good idea of what you go through.
Exactly.
They're like, oh yeah, we know. We definitely
that's
get
around
it.
us on a daily basis. How's the market right now?
Hot.
Insane, isn't it?
Feeling hot,
Spring
hot,
in
hot.
February.
Man, it is. We just listed one yesterday, and we had over 100 people through it. Literally, we had 25 to 30 showings, 60 people at the open house. There was just cars outside before it started. There was like 7 or 8 cars sitting outside.
Open houses are popping right now. Usually you think, oh, we're going to get into March when it warms up. Nope, people want it right now, and I love that. I want it. It's my money, and I want it now. That's the kind of the mentality they're moving into.
And
I
they're
love it.
selling as fast as they're going on the market. We're
Multiple
going
offers.
1 week, unstaging them the next. It's insane.
Yeah. I've already lost, I think, like 3 or 4 in the last week that I've written for people. So I think it's that time.
I offered last week for a really nice condo. I went 16 over. Didn't get it.
Yep, I was 15 over on 2 this past week.
I was like,
Didn't get it.
okay.
Yeah,
we had a client who she went 20 under and got laughed at.
And you deserve that. You got to know the market.
And she knows who she is.
Yeah, she does. The
She
agent should
remain
know better.
nameless.
The agent should know, not even right. That's when you make the call and you're just like, is it worth me even? No? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I've gotten used to that. Just like, hey, listen, this is what they're thinking. Do you? Nope. All right. And I just happy to go back to them like, listen, how much do you like this house? Do you really like this house? Because we need to act like it.
Yeah, exactly.
And they sometimes they get it. I mean, I think for the most part they get
You
it.
mean they're not going to sell it for me 20,000 under the first day it's on
They're
market?
like other
with
people are offering more money and they
19
don't want
other
to sell
showings?
it to me. And I'm like, yeah, no, they don't want to do that.
In her defense, she did offer full cash, no contingencies, so she had hoped that they would go.
Take the
right
cash.
away.
Yeah, I'd take 20 grand more and wait for the financing to close,
Exactly.
though. Pretty sure.
I'll wait 30 days for $20,000 more.
Yeah. Man, we have something exciting to announce here.
Lay it
The
on
last
us.
podcast, we announced that we had moved our office over to EXP. We moved to the city. We got our own,
We're city
own
boys.
office space. Yeah, right down on Broad Street. Plus, we have some short pump space, some Midlothian space coming. But we just launched the Davis Group vlog. So if you are listening to us in the car on the way to work and you thought, you know what I really need is to be able to see Jared Davis's face or Galen Parker.
You know what I really need? I need to see the face behind that voice.
That's exactly
And
right.
if you want to see some crazy faces
Yeah.
of Jared's, that is.
It is, yeah. So if you go to YouTube and you look up the Davis Group, you'll find us. Subscribe. Vlog 1 is active. Vlog
Very
2 is
nice.
coming. This is going to give us more of a hands-on. So the podcast, obviously, we can talk about subjects, but the vlog is nice because when people are talking about, say, flips on here, when we go
Let's
to the
go see
vlog,
the
now
flips.
you get to start seeing the flips. You get to start
Take
seeing
it to the
renovations.
streets.
The rental portfolios, you get to see how they're getting turned over. You get to see how the office process is working, what we're doing each day in real estate, and I think they're turning out pretty interesting. So Definitely check that out.
Kudos
great-
to
got some
Studio
great
77.
views.
It has been getting some great views. We've been getting awesome feedback. Studio 77 also doing the filming on that.
It's all about Galen.
For the most
I
part.
said he's the number one. I said
the
you're
most part.
I said you're star number one of the vlog.
They're like, what do you do again? I'm like, well, I'm just kind of like a ham, kind of a personality.
That's right.
They're like, are you a real estate agent? No, I'm a real estate personality.
That's right. It's the best. I love it.
I just happen to be licensed in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
So do we do restaurant review or do we do deep dive first this week? What do you think?
I'm hungry.
All right.
It's time
So,
to eat.
let's do the restaurant review. On this week's restaurant review, we did Pearly's down in the city. Who's eating at Pearly's? I hear Jonathan tried.
I'm still hungry.
Yeah.
So you've never eaten there before? Is that
No. And I went to
how long
check
have you
it
been in
out.
Richmond?
10 years.
All right, that's not so bad.
So what is Pearly's?
Pearly's is. I feel like I should pull the.
Pearly's is a creatish Jewish deli.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like I'm gonna flub that.
Serving
Pearly's is a Jewish
bites and
restaurant and
dinners.
delicatessen
There you go.
located in downtown Richmond. We serve a traditional Jewish cuisine with a modern spin. Open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
It also calls itself a retro eatery.
It's Yiddish for delicious. For delicious.
I want to hear it again though. I want to hear it in if you're getting paid for the sponsorship on this.
No, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
Come
I
on.
work for free. But it was wonderful. It was a really cool restaurant. I really loved it. I just kind of it reminded me of being back in New York.
Yep.
To kind of like go in there, as most of you guys have already heard, I'm a Long Island kid. So just to be out there, I'm like, man, this reminds me of, certain places in Uniondale, certain places, Hempstead, going into like Queens and stuff like that. So
I was
really,
going to say, it reminded me of a New York diner.
yeah, for sure. It really does. And it's just it's got that energy, that vibe. They can see you eating the cookies. We're on video now. It's like, he's sneaking cookies like they all can see
eating
that.
Samoas.
All right, what did you get, Jared? Do you remember what you got?
I did. So I got the matzo ball soup because I was pretty sick that day.
Yeah, you were.
It was getting rough. That was the start of a rough week for me.
Yeah.
So I got some matzo ball soup, which is, I'm sorry to all of the Jewish food fans out here that would describe this much better. To me, it was chicken noodle soup
Gotcha.
with a bread ball in the middle.
I think that's fair.
I think that's like the easiest way to
It's the
describe
most
what it was.
unoffensive way you could describe it.
I'm sure there's more to
Pretty
it,
proud
but
of
that's
you.
what it looked like. Chicken noodle soup, big old bread ball, matzo ball. And then I had the Rachel sandwich. So it was turkey with coleslaw and Swiss on like a Jewish rye bread. And their fries, I think what were they, truffle something, either duck truffle oil or truffle oil.
I think it was truffle oil.
They were good. They were very good. And the portions.
Now that is where you're going to win. If you go to Pearly's, you might want to go with a friend and split a meal. Because it was kind of embarrassing watching Jared try to eat his because there was like so much left, and I was like, he's sick. He would crush this, but he was like eating half of the soup. But it was just so much food there, and I love a restaurant that has so much food. I don't ever want to like complain about like servings or portions. I hate leaving a restaurant feeling kind of hungry, like, oh man, I wish I could have. We went to another restaurant the next day, and we got their sandwich. We kind of compared it. We won't say
Salt and Forge.
Oh man, we compared and we're like, man, this is similar pricing, but not similar. I'm still hungry.
Yeah, I think I paid $14 for lunch at Salt and Forge for a sandwich that was like a quarter of the size. And it was a good sandwich. Salt and Forge, if you're listening to
delicious
this.
food.
We'll probably
we're really proud of the
we'll
effort
probably
that you
put you
into
on
the
our
meal.
we'll put
raise
you
your portion up a little bit.
we'll put you on RVA Real Estate Talk. I had nothing bad there. The food was good, but
Exactly.
from a portion standpoint,
I
had
need an American-sized portion.
I had an entire lunch the next day from what I ate at Pearly's.
I'm an American-sized male, and I need American-sized portion.
We need to time it where we eat the food and review it in real time in the podcast.
So what Mike's saying is he's going to go pick us up lunch next
Got
time.
it.
No.
Got
when
it.
we get
Sounds
here.
good.
It's going
The
to be
only
ready.
problem with that, I feel like it would be weird if we had like all of this in the restaurant. There's like someone next to us trying to order. I'm like, this is
I didn't
good.
mean in the restaurant. I'm saying they deliver the
You
food
said
to
real
us.
time.
That's right. So
No
you either
one's-
got to bring the food here or you got to bring the podcast to the restaurant.
Yeah.
Would have done that if I'd known it was an option, and then Galen would have been stealing my fries.
Well,
Yeah, I
they do
know.
that. They do that.
I'm like, these are so delicious. Thank you for sharing with all of us.
just be chewing the whole time. That's all you hear.
It was very nice.
What did you eat?
I got the tuna schmelt, which was delicious. I'm a big fan of tuna.
Okay.
A lot of my friends will make fun of me for the fact that
Mm-hmm.
I will get tuna pretty much anywhere. Wawa, tuna. Sheets, tuna.
Do you have a
Subway?
death wish?
Can we raise the bar a little
Tuna.
bit on where else you're getting tuna?
Here, the funny
Can
thing
we go-
is,
can we go higher than Wawa and Sheets?
Kat's got a real big thing about this because there is a Subway on Midlothian Turnpike that I got the tuna from, got food poisoning.
And you did it
2
again.
weeks later, went back there, got the tuna,
Did you-
and I was fine. I was fine the second time. I love tuna, and I'm not that crazy about a lot of fish. But tuna, which is like the fishiest
That
of
is
the
the
fish
weirdest fish
that
to
comes
like.
out of the can, I'm like, more of that, please. So, to upgrade your taste buds, go to Pearly's and get that tuna schmelt. It was delicious. I even have a picture.
It was
of
like
it.
on a bagel, right?
It was on a bagel. It was on like an everything bagel. I'm sorry if that's the wrong bagel, but that's what I called it. Cheese. It looks like it's some capers. Had some tomato. Had some onions. It was amazing. And you could only really eat half of it. You could have saved the other half for. But I kind of try to eat as much as I can because I don't think tuna probably travels well. You don't want to like save that later as we were driving through town doing real estate stuff and eat that tomorrow. Like
I wouldn't let that in my car.
I'm asking myself for trouble.
So the tuna sandwich that you ate that you got food poisoning from, did you try to save that?
No, I ate it all. I went coast to coast in that 12-incher. Subway. I did Subway. I did Subway right. It was delicious. I love. Listen,
No.
Subway.
No.
If you're listening to me, I am a way less controversial spokesperson than Jared was, for sure.
Not this Jared.
Right.
The other
Not
Jared.
this Jared.
Do not Google spokesperson for Subway and Jared. And put
That's
them
what
in
I
the
used to
same
do.
box.
Totally
Would you
different
be
Jared.
like, you're like Jared, like the Subway guy. Now I'm like, no,
No.
Jared, like
No,
the jewelers, like the jewelers, not like the Subway guy.
You're like Jay, like the Subway guy. No. Different.
He's
Yeah.
the diamond of
I could do a
realtors.
commercial for Subway for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you do a little promo right now. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll listen and hear it.
All right, what do you
Let's
guys
hear
want to hear?
Let's hear it.
Well, I mean,
Do they have a theme song?
Let's do
just
one
eat
on,
fresh, right? Just
Let's
eat
do one
fresh.
on,
yeah.
on
Can we
That's
say that
right.
on here without getting like copyright infringement?
I think we can say if we're saying positive things
we don't
about
throw the
Oh,
Subway.
cool,
logo
cool. Subway tuna, eat fresh.
Exactly.
Sometimes.
You just got Subway. That was not Galen.
The pause though was awesome because you didn't know it was coming until the very end.
Subway, that was not Galen. That was Jared. I still love you. Daddy loves you. Subway, did you just got finished with a workout? Have you been walking in the sun?
No.
You think you're overheating? Try Subway tuna fish. It'll do you right. Every way. Eat fresh.
All
That's
right.
what I would say with it.
All
On a
right.
hot summer day when you're
Hot summer day
overheating.
after you're overheated when you work out. When else do you want a tuna fish sandwich?
Never. I never want a tuna fish sandwich.
guys are-
And
You
then
guys
you
are
hear the
haters.
ambulance in the
You guys are
background.
haters.
Like a warm glass of milk and tuna fish on a hot day.
There's nothing better than a warm glass of milk and a nice tuna fish sub sandwich.
No.
Who
I don't
am I
see-
sitting beside?
All right, some of that's not true. Some of
We've
that's
lost
not true.
all restaurant credibility.
Some of that's not true. Some
All of
that's
our
not
restaurant reviews have lost all credibility at this point.
Pearly's
We usually
restaurant
go
and
off
delicatessen.
topic a little bit, but we went full off topic.
We just went deep dive off topic.
That's all right. That works.
All right, but
Last
listen,
time we talked about Star
but here's
Wars.
the thing: a lot of people were pretty excited about Pearly's. There's a lot of people who haven't been to Pearly's recently. So if you haven't been, totally go.
Yep.
Mike tried to go today. You know how Mike is.
It's
not that
extremely
Mike, our
popular,
Mike.
though.
Yeah, but then
super popular.
you, how long did you wait
I
out?
waited 40 minutes. They were like, for one person, they were like, "Oh, it's going to be 15 minutes." It actually turned out to be 40.
See, the
And
problem
I wanted
you've
to be
got-
here, so I was like,
Everything's closed on Mondays in general. And then also today's a holiday, so then everything else is closed. So Pearly's and Salt and Forge are like the only restaurants that are even open. So you knew you were going to get tripled up out there. So,
that
but
makes
go on
sense.
like a Thursday. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah, so if you haven't had
Hey,
Pearly's,
we'll go with you.
there's no other. How many Jewish delis are there in Richmond?
I am not up on the Hebrew food consumption in Richmond.
I'm thinking they're like one of the only ones. And
Mike,
it's funny.
Mike, Google it.
No.
I mean, it's funny because someone called on the phone. Do you remember we were there and they were asking like about how the stuff they're
Yes,
kosher?
they were
what,
like,
what is this kosher? And I was thought, man, you didn't think
love
about
that.
this market share in Richmond, but I guess there's all these Jewish people
I
that are.
meant to. I don't know if we could ever get this to whoever owns Pearly's, but the person who answered the phone that worked there was so knowledgeable
Yeah.
to those questions. I was so impressed. He was like, "Oh, are you asking about their kosher?" "Oh, yes." Well, and he like went on this long kind of diatribe about it. I was like,
Where they
this
get the
guy
stuff.
knows his stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I hope he's a supervisor or a manager, but he might be just the guy who runs the
But
department.
it makes sense. I guess you've got all these people that are like, where do we? It's like people that are vegan or people that are.
Do not
don't
get me started. On
We won't
vegan.
compare. Or like celiacs, right? They got to have these
All right,
approved
I agree with
menus, right? So now you got, again, I never even thought of this market of people that are calling that are like, this, I can actually eat here. So,
Yeah.
according to Yelp, there are 6.
Ooh, where are they? Drop it on. Drop the dime on us.
John Smith Subs
Never
and
heard of it.
Midlothian Turnpike.
never heard of that.
Piccata Latin Grill, even though it's listed as well.
Piccata Latin
Yeah,
Grill?
I'm not getting that.
Jewish
Pearly's,
Latin Grill, okay.
Cupertino's, New York Bagels and Deli.
Okay,
I
I
did know
see
that.
that one.
Boy
Yep.
Chick's Deli, which is in
I did know that.
Yep, I could see that too. Boy
New
Chicks is
York
great as
Deli,
well.
and Nate's Bagels.
Ah, Nate's Bagels on there. So it's pretty much all bagel shops almost. Sans like a weird Latin one that's in there, and then Pearly's. So guys, check out Pearly's when you get a chance. It's awesome. Also, as we always say, if there's something that you want to hear reviewed, let us know because we love to
Absolutely.
eat.
We're getting some real amazing references of people asking us to eat food, so I love it.
Awesome. Alrighty. Well, at this point, we're going to move into our deep dive. So as we've already introduced and announced. Today we have Jonathan of J Squared Interiors.
J Squared.
And there it is. This is staging and design. Jonathan?
This commercial now.
That's right. Galen's got a new
Galen's
job as
getting
a
a new
radio
job,
personality.
completely.
All right, Jonathan, what do you do? Tell us.
I go in, I take the ugly, I make it pretty.
Ooh.
It's not always ugly, but you got to dress it up so you can get the perceived value of it.
Yeah.
If somebody walks in a good suit, you may think they're going to be more credible than somebody that shows up in sweats.
Ah, see, look at that. Now you see why it is that we wear what we wear every day, right? Exactly. You carry yourself well, you make a house carry itself well, right? So
I like
what's
that idea.
What's the value of staging? Let's expand on it a little bit.
You want to increase anybody who comes into a home. You want to increase their perceived value. So then actually you get, say maybe 100 people coming through a house and then 25 contracts that makes your realtor's life a little bit of a nightmare. That's kind of the fun part. I mean, my goal is to make the realtors miserable with all the work they have to do because, I'm moving all this furniture in. But it really does actually help increase the traffic coming in mostly because people go online. They look at homes first there, then they're going to actually make an appointment to go see it. When you've got I just came back from the Inman conference and they were talking about how a lot of the millennial buyers now, they're going so far as to say they're trying to request showings without anyone there so they can go any time of day. They're wanting to just go through. So that's where staging actually in person is going to still help a little more because you don't know, you're not able to gauge the reaction at that point. You've got to, again, kind of guess and still hope that they're going to love what they see when they come in. So you want to make sure they do.
Okay.
Would you think of yourself as like a visual curator? Like you kind of tell a story? Is that?
That is exactly how I look at it. Every house we do, I kind of form some story in my head of who's going to be buying it, who's going to live there. And, when I first started doing this a little earlier than I would even imagine, my dad probably thought that I was nuts growing up because I would see a house that was falling down.
Who keeps moving the couch?
Well, that too. There's a good little side story on that. But we would see houses that were falling down, and I could automatically flip that house in my head. I would see what it could be or what it had been. And it worked out really, really well with that because it was, I could see that ahead of time.
Very
Okay.
nice.
My dad worked for Duke Power, so we moved constantly.
Okay.
He also liked to get married. He's on his 7th wife. So there was
Ooh.
a constant new wife. So there
Can
was
he come on the show?
always a new decorating
He sounds like he'd be fun to
challenge.
talk to.
Oh, definitely. I'm sure he's got some really good stories.
At what point did he learn about prenups?
Right? He never did, actually. So
That's too funny.
Really? 7 in
Yep,
by 7?
in, still didn't do them. It's
Living
still
on a
nuts.
prayer.
And so,
He's like, the first wife is still taking everything I have, so the next 6, it's fine.
number 1 and number 3, they cleaned him out pretty
Gotcha.
much.
0
So I was
divided
like,
by 6.
Oh, man.
That's
Okay,
intense.
don't want to sidetrack there till after the
Sure.
show.
Yeah.
I do want to know as much as possible after the show. But anyways, so first steps to a full stage, right? Because sometimes you're going to come into houses for us that are empty. Say I flip a house, it's no one's living there, right? But then other times I'm going to come into someone's house and they've been living in it for 15 years, right? So what is the first step for you on a staging job?
I'm going to ask the agent how much money they want to make on that house.
Okay, I like it.
Okay.
Because I've got to make sure that at that point they want to maximize the value they're going to get for their clients.
Okay.
I mean, you do have that fiduciary responsibility, so it's not just about that commission you're getting.
Yeah.
When they tell me, they want to max that out, I'm like, okay, give them the eviction papers.
Yeah.
You need to move them out.
Yep.
Because when you look at anything in your house right now, if you were given, X amount of dollars to buy that same couch again, would you buy that exact same couch again?
No.
Neither would people wanting to move in that house.
Yeah, exactly.
So you want to get all of the old stuff out. We bring in all the fresh, new things. We stay really on trend with that.
Yep.
We use the furniture that you would love to live on. But then when you get it, when you buy it, put it in your house, you're like, this is not comfortable. I can't fall asleep watching TV.
I got
with this,
you.
that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's that lifestyle at the same time. So you're painting that picture for them. By getting your clients to move out first, it's the first step in getting them the most money.
Okay. So
So
go ahead.
You said something earlier. You said about staying on trend. I mean, what do you do to make sure that you guys are on trend? Because obviously, things change. Right now we're looking at the grays inside the house, but I'm sure one day that's going to change. I mean, what do you guys do to kind of keep up? Or do you set the trend?
You could say we set some trends
Okay.
here in Richmond because when we first came around, we had more of a West Coast look that was a little more neutral. And at the time, every other stager in Richmond was doing very loud colors, huge floral arrangements, things like that. And so we kind of helped nix that out because
Okay.
that's where style was changing. Everybody in Richmond knows that Richmond's usually a few years behind on design trends. So, we want to stay on top of that because younger buyers are coming in and they're knowing what's happening. I go to High Point Market a couple times a year. I actually am speaking there coming up soon. I've spoke there a few times, but
In North Carolina. I've been there.
I go to New York, Las Vegas markets, California, making sure that we stay on top of every single thing, that we know what's happening. So then it's really giving the buyer more what they want. We sell actually a lot of our furniture with the homes.
Okay.
We
That's
saw
smart.
a huge increase with that last year, with people coming through and saying, we'll take it all.
I like everything I see right now.
Yeah.
And it's always
Saves you a move out.
And it's always a yes, because it's like, okay, why not? It keeps my inventory fresh.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about putting the same stuff in the same house or a different house down the street that somebody's flipped.
Your stuff's not really aging if people are just buying it as you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm putting a quality product in, and we are a little more expensive than some of the people in town. But when you're
Yeah.
maximizing that out and you're getting all these bidding offers,
Yeah.
it pays off.
Do you ever have someone who says, I saw this house, I want it to look just like this? Like if I came to you, I'm like, hey, I want to ball out like LeBron in my living room. Could you make that happen? How close can the stager take me?
We're pretty good at. I could.
Because I know a lot of people, they have
you're
the
really
vision in their
visual, yeah,
mind.
I
Like
know.
with all these shows like HGTV or Desperate Housewives, they're all trying to wonder, like, I want to look like that.
And why do you think they want to see the staged house? Because nobody really lives in those rooms.
Yeah.
You're not seeing the room LeBron really lives in.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It's got socks over the
And you
floor.
named like Desperate Housewives, Kardashians are one of the things people are like, oh yeah, we want it neutral like that. And I'm like, yeah, you don't want it that. No, you need a little
Just
more
less
than what
messy.
they have. But
Yeah,
still.
we're not in California.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right. So, do you ever stage while people still live in the house, or do they need to be fully out?
We used to. We don't anymore because
Okay.
what we found happens is
They live in it.
they do.
They
You
live
may
on it.
have a single gentleman or a single female who they're never home.
Or married.
Right. Either way, I'm not done.
I'm
I'm like, either that they are never home. They're always out at work and that stuff. And so the agent will be like, oh, they're never here. No big deal. Well, their house is partially furnished. And then suddenly you go deck it out. It's fully furnished like LeBron's. They want to show that off and entertain. They want to show people they can have that style at the same time.
Before it's gone.
So-
That would be
yeah,
good.
That would totally be me. I'd be like, hey, could you come over and just stage my house and like have a huge party? I'm like,
Exactly.
yeah, I'm just kind of living well, They're like, should we sit on this? I'm like, yeah, don't touch it.
Yeah, don't worry about the
And that's what
plastic over it.
I love like when you go to some, and I don't know if you guys do this, you go to like some stagers and they have like the bed. But it's really
It's
just
a-
like a
it's
cardboard
air mattress,
boxes.
or-
Or I've seen the cardboard boxes. It's just like, and I'm like, hey, do not touch that. And I had like a client one day, and like their little kids
Their
like
little kid?
slammed into it, and they're like screaming, and I'm just like, is it box
bed
makes a lot of
folds
noise.
over.
And I was like, what'd you do? And they're like, what? I'm like, I'm just messing with you. It's just,
Yeah,
what do you guys do? For
You don't use
beds?
boxes.
Nope.
Nope.
We don't. We actually use real beds.
Real beds now. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me
Because
upgrade
he
ya.
just named one of the big hazards of
Kids
it. is
jump
that-
on it, or you end up having to go re-inflate your air mattress.
Yeah, that
right?
when we did use air mattresses, that was the biggest disaster in the world.
I remember.
It used to be kids didn't
just like on the floor.
I remember.
Right, kids didn't go with parents.
Or
to
you'd
look
have
at
like an
houses
auto
and
pump, and you come
somehow.
straight to the house and just be like,
Yep.
and then the bedroom, you're like, why is the bed making so much noise?
You never know what's going to go on with the houses. As an agent, I'm like in the house. They've got kids. I'm like, I'm not going to
I think
reprimand their
that
kids.
happened in one of your houses.
It
When
did.
we did
On
use
Gilbert.
those-
I think it was
Yes, we
Gilbert,
did
I'm pretty
use
sure.
those. Somebody cracked, but it was one of those self-inflating, so it would put the air back in as soon as it went out. And he called me, and he's like, why is the bed vibrating? It's making a weird vibrating noise. You know what that is?
You
And I
paid
was
extra
like,
for that.
That's right.
well,
6 quarters.
Like one of the ones you put the exactly
Yeah, I was
the
gonna say
quarters
you wanted
in.
the motel
That's
experience, right?
I was going for the Valentine's
Insert a
suite.
quarter in that pig, and the bed will vibrate.
Like
as
this
well.
bed is shaped like a heart and it won't stop moving, but
Like, yeah, that was extra.
Yeah,
that, was,
exactly.
that was an upsell.
All right, so we get the people's stuff out. That's the first step. What if? Talk to me about colors, right? Because everything's going to get out. They're going to pull all their pictures down. How important are colors right now on the spectrum? Because you're not painting, but you're going to be relaying it to the client or relaying it to, say, me as a owner, maybe a flipper, and you're going to say, hey, this needs to be this or that. I mean, if it's a flip, nowadays you may hate it, but I'm just going to paint everything agreeable gray unless you want an accent wall or something. But for the average guy that's got a orange dining room and a yellow kitchen and he hasn't painted in years, what are the color trends right now? How important is it that we get the colors right?
Galen, you have to paint the pink living room. No more.
Oof.
No, it's extremely important. And gray, unfortunately, for most realtors, is not going anywhere because
He
it
says
can be warm or
unfortunately.
cool. I mean, I love gray. I'm happy with it. But so many agents, they're like, can we be done with gray already?
Yeah, where do
and
you
I'm
go?
like, no, you went
Taupe?
from beige
Uh-huh.
and warm. And most beiges have a warm undertone to them anyway.
Yeah.
So many people didn't. They're like, it's just beige. It's like the DMV. I don't want to have that in my house.
Yeah.
You got gray. Everybody loves it because
Yep. And the beiges came out so yellow so many times that you'd go
Or
take
pink,
pictures.
Or pink.
I was going to
Yep.
say, when it was photographed,
It never
cannot
comes out
go.
right. I remember you did one for me over in Edgewater at the reservoir, I think it was, and that guy was a 3,000 square foot house, and the guy called me after he painted the whole house, and he had done an eggshell, and literally everything in that house just looked yellow. And I was
when
like,
Mike came to photograph it, I was like, it's
Played
bad.
Coldplay
It's
in the
bad.
background.
It's gonna look like jaundice because it's got this yellow glow to it. It was horrible.
so gray's cool.
Yeah,
Are there
because
any?
also on sunlight, a position of a home actually does better on agreeable gray across the board. It could be dark, could be light.
I know.
You know,
But are there other colors that you're liking now to do at least accents? Like if you're going to do maybe a master or a bathroom or a dining, or would you rather just see it all one color?
all one color.
Okay.
Just think about what, like, he's wearing a red shirt, you're wearing blue. You like cooler colors, he tends to be pulled towards warmer colors.
Okay.
Couples are the same way. People buying houses are the same way. You don't want to have something in because nobody wants to paint a wall.
I like that.
So-
I actually like that because I have a challenge sometimes when I do a bigger flip where I say, hey, this flip's worth $350 or $400. Are they expecting us to do a different color in the master or the bedroom, not the bath, dining, whatever? But if you're saying it's all agreeable gray, that saves me money and time, and it makes it easier for the painters, everything.
It's that personal touch, and you don't want to put any personal touch on it all. And that's also where taking people out of the house. You're taking away that.
I like it.
Design is about putting a personal touch in. Staging is about taking that personal touch out and making it have mass appeal.
Okay.
What are the limits? Like, so what if like you go to a house and someone has just painted the house inside to their heart's content, and it's not something that's going to trend? I mean, what do you do at those times? How do you fix that? How do you make something better?
Well, I start by saying a prayer and crying a lot and then I call the agent and I complain because I'm like, why didn't you convince them to do this? And they're like, they just said absolutely not, as is, and it's going to have to stay that way.
Yep.
And so, we've actually had quite a few in Richmond because they love colors.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'll usually ask if I can meet with them at beforehand because generally I can talk them into, I can explain to them a little bit more in depth on why and how it's going to benefit them.
Okay.
A lot of times, and some people will say, "Oh, I bought it this color," and I bought it this color. And I'm
Yep.
like, well, do you want to wait for that one specific buyer, or do you want to have multiple people coming in to see
That's
it?
a good point.
Yeah. No, it's tough when you have that guy that's like, look, my tastes are, it's very specific, but we're just going to find the specific buyer. You're like, yeah.
I like
we could.
1940s Egyptian.
It's
like, that's cool.
It's like we could find that one, or we could just get it to the point where the 10 people that are going to come in, 9 of the 10 are going to like it versus the 1 out of the
Exactly.
10, right?
I've had a request where they wanted me to Photoshop colors to see what color they would like.
On the wall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, that sounds like a lot of work. All right.
Yeah.
Light stage versus full stage.
So, not to knock any of my staging people out there,
Throw 'em under the
you know,
bus.
right? I'm like, I feel pretty strongly about light staging. Most of them know it. I've had a few of them get pretty ticked off at me for saying this, but you're not doing anything but hurting your own listing because you're having one room that's done or a piece of art on a mantle. When the photographs are taken, that's the first thing that people are seeing. They're not looking at the fixed assets they're going to buy. It's going to be much better to leave a house empty than it is to actually have light staging done because they're going to be standing there trying to figure out, why is this random flower here on this island, or why is this one rug here? Did the movers forget and leave something behind? And they're more concerned with the story of the house and what's happening. And even in some cases, I've seen some houses that were so lightly staged it looked like, well, somebody's wife left them and took half the furniture and left it behind. So people are always trying to create a story.
Too soon. Too soon.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Well,
This concludes RVA Real Estate Talk. I'm Galen Parker.
Pull the
This is
plug.
Jared Davis. We're going to go cry now.
Trash this one. No,
but
just-
it's like that.
Great.
See,
Now Jared has to do like an apology.
I'm just kidding. I have a new wife now, and my house is great.
We're
Yeah.
talking about upgrades.
But you can come to my
and
living room if you want.
I was gonna say, didn't you say there was like a $30,000 budget for that new living room or something?
Maybe. Is that what you want? Is that
So,
what we're wanting to do?
I'm like,
You said you don't do interior
I'm
design
like, I'm
anymore
winning
out
some
of
points
better,
right now
better
with
grade.
Mrs. Davis, though.
There you go.
you got to be Mrs. Davis. She's not going to care.
Yeah, yes. I'm the luxurious one of the relationship. She's gonna be like,
very happy with what it is right now.
yeah, she could be like, could you find anything at Goodwill? You think they have any furniture
so
we can put?
awesome.
She
She
is
is
awesome.
so
I
awesome.
love my wife, Jack. If you're listening to this, you're the
We know you're
greatest.
not.
Aw.
Just
You-
kidding. She
no,
totally
she
is.
does. She listens to it. She loves the podcast. She likes
Her
the
and her
vlog.
sister are two of our biggest fans.
They're always liking everything. I love it. It's good. All
Thank
right.
you guys.
So you like a full stage. What if you have like 5 bedrooms in a house though, and you've got like the master? Do I need to do all 5 bedrooms?
It depends on the price point you're looking at.
400,000.
Luxury, possibly yes. Second, no.
All right,
Secondary
800,000.
secondary bedrooms, no.
800,000.
It depends on the layout. If the bedrooms are complicated, because some of the historic homes in Richmond, they've got odd layouts because they've either been built on,
Yeah, or you get a
roof's been
small
burnt,
room
right.
and you need to figure out how you can lay it out and make it look right. I get that. That makes sense.
We had one that was 400,000, and we ended up we didn't do the secondary bedrooms. And I'll start with that a lot of times. Is let's not do the secondary bedrooms first and see what interest we get and what the feedback is.
Okay.
The first open house, because if they just can't figure it out, then I'll add it on later, because I don't want to just sell somebody something they don't need.
Yeah. So like, and in this market, it is very hot. Obviously, we know you can technically sell a house empty, but let's say like even like a 2-bedroom bungalow. I called you on that one, but you were so busy. He's so hard. You got to book him way ahead of time.
Man's in demand.
Let's go.
Oh, you mean like not like the night before call? Like sometimes
Hey, Matt, can you do pictures for me tomorrow?
See, and
No, for real.
and
Tomorrow?
Mike
Are you good for
understands
pictures?
that feeling.
Yeah.
You're good.
I hope
Can
Carrie's
you get-
listening.
Well, I'm thinking, Carrie. Hey, Carrie, can you book
Carrie,
this on
are
the
you
calendar?
listening?
Yeah.
I don't say yes without her saying.
Yeah, I
yes.
know that's right.
Oh my gosh, happy wife, happy life. It's
That's
your sister.
not my wife.
It's your work wife.
It's work
It's
wife.
your work
happy
wife.
work wife. Happy life. Can
You
you
fear her
All right,
like it's
text
your
Carrie.
wife.
I will
Text Carrie and see if you can get pictures tomorrow. You got Rosewood, yeah. So that's a 2-bedroom bungalow, and again, it's just 2 bedrooms. They're almost both the same size. They both have a bath, even though one has a walk-in closet.
I
It's
don't
more of
wanna
a
do
master. But you would do one, and you do the living room, dining, kitchen. Even if it's all one living space, you just kind of bring it through.
Yeah, generally if it's a 2-bedroom, I'm only going to say to do one.
Okay.
Unless the other one is just so weird that people are going to think it's only an office
Okay.
and not a bedroom. And then I'm going to say let's make it a combo because...
So
you know,
if
so
a
then
true
see it as
full
both.
stage in your eyes is mainly the main master and then all of your living areas. And then you can leave the secondary bedrooms empty.
makes
Unless
sense.
you get to a point where you say, hey, it's just worth it, or we've so much budget we can throw at it.
Yeah, we'll see some houses sometimes. I'll go in and... Because a lot of times we'll have people send us photos so we can do a faster booking process.
Yep.
And you can email us photos, then we'll book everything, and then we'll get to the house, and I'm like, you didn't take pictures of 4 of these rooms, and yeah, this is just not going to flow.
Got
You've got
it.
to tell that story, direct the flow of traffic.
Gotcha.
And if
Okay.
they're walking by 4 empty rooms before they get to the master, that's not going to work out really well because they're already at that point, they're getting bored, and they're going to forget what the master looked like. You could have
Got
spent 10 grand on a new shower, bathroom thing for that house. They're not going to remember it because they're like, oh, why is that room empty? Oh, that room's empty. I have
Gotcha.
to clean that room before I get to my own room at night.
Okay. Digital versus real staging. And before you answer this question,
here
he's
we go.
laughing. But sorry, Mike. I didn't Studio 77 for all your digital staging needs. He does. It's
No,
good.
I was going to echo on some of the staging though. I've come across where Jonathan's done a house, and I can tell, oh, this is higher class or whatever, and they couldn't afford that little sunroom or the little bathroom or whatever, and we've added digital stuff in
to
there.
that room.
Yeah.
Okay, so you could mold the two together technically.
Yeah, and that's
All right.
great because if they have a style that they already have, then we can pull from that style and not have to guess,
Okay.
the other way around.
So talk to me about digital versus actual. So again, and if you're listening, digital staging, if you haven't seen it, if you're an agent, you've probably seen it at this point, but it's essentially taking the pictures that you have, the professional pictures, and then adding digital furniture, paintings, rugs, everything to the room to give people an idea of what it looks like. It can trick you. You can actually look through and think it's real. It's pretty close. But all right, with that in mind, give me your take.
So it's about the experience. So how many people want to blow up doll as their wife?
So there's a gap.
I'm not going to answer that question.
That's the first time we were like,
All three of us are like,
wondering,
this is-
I was
what's the
wondering if I could
legality?
actually
We
throw
just
Galen
lost
off
some
for a minute.
listeners.
Listen. It's
Chick-fil-A is just no longer
they're
our
like,
sponsor.
No, sorry about that. Now I'm gonna have to sponsor because I just lost
That's
We just
Chick-fil-A.
lost Chick-fil-A.
But anybody, we want an experience. We want to be able to sit, see, and feel.
Okay,
That
I like that. Sit,
that
see, and
room.
feel.
Sit, see, and feel. Being able to walk in, and I was just at the Inman conference, and they were talking about it, and they were like, it's great to get people inside the house. I really started something. Not the best example at all.
I've got nothing on this one.
But they want to experience that investment.
Galen's blowing up his new wife.
Yeah. There you go, Galen.
Sit,
Sit, see, and feel.
See and feel.
Sit, see, and
Go.
feel. Okay.
Gotcha.
You may have lost Chick-fil-A, but I might
Awful
have just earned you
illustration.
taboo.
There you go. That
It's,
was it.
people want to experience that investment prior to purchase, so they want to make sure it works. It's like you don't want to have blow-up beds in your house because they deflate.
Yeah.
Same
Gotcha.
thing with a blow-up wife.
I have definitely gone. I mean, obviously for real estate, and there's realtors who listen to this. You all have seen it. You know, you go into a house and you see a full staging, and it takes a lot for us to be impressed.
Mm-hmm.
But there's definitely times where I've gone into your work and I've just been like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
like this is like I want to live here, and I'm like, I'm not trying to sell you on this, but if you don't buy this, I might kind of try to do something because it really makes it look inviting. It makes me think, and it's not that it makes the house feel like it's lived in, like someone else is there, but you can tell this is someone who has a good vision as far as what they want the house. And I love, because I feel like a lot of staging has to be kind of an art. It's almost like you're painting a picture. A lot of it's like, you know, mechanics of the room, but a lot of it's just balancing art, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
Well, and it's making sure that everything is, you know, it's not the same. We're not moving one stage from one house to another because it's got to be curated for each home.
I love that word.
And because virtual staging is great. Like you said, you can add in rooms, things like that, but you're not minimizing the negative effects, the negative aspects of a home.
Yeah, and when
If
you
it
get
does
there,
have
it's
one of those
empty.
things,
So
right.
in the pictures, it may pull you in, but then you get there and you're like, oh, there's actually nothing
You've
here.
been catfished.
You have a little bit.
That's a good point. This house doesn't have this.
It's the best way. I was like, without digging myself another sponsor hole. It's like you've been catfished because you fall in love, and we've actually had some that were not virtually staged by Mike. Some other virtual stager
Sure.
that
They added a skylight.
they did. They actually enhanced the home.
Like
to the
windows.
point
There's
of
4 windows on
Yeah,
the thing there.
actually, we won't do that, actually. And we give them the blank room and then the digital.
So they can do both
They
pictures
have
and
to
the
do on
listing.
the MLS. They have to show both.
You have to?
That's what I heard
From who?
from RAR.
That's weird. Isn't that odd? Aria, maybe you can confirm that with us.
There
You
were a
can
lot of
post up and let us
complaints
know.
last year and the year before because there were a lot of home buyers that went through and they were just upset and mad because things had been enhanced. One, they'd turned an outdoor porch into a sunroom. And
Yeah.
it was
See, some
it
things
was at
you've
the
gone too
request of the
far.
realtor. Yeah,
Like
it
if
was-
you
they
change
wanted
the
to show the
sky,
potential.
yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, skies and
The grass. All right, that's okay, but, like-
grass and like
I mean, as long as you don't get crazy. I mean, don't add like a putting green if you've got like a swamp thing. But I mean-
Waterfront.
yeah, I know. It's
You
like,
show up
like,
in
man,
the-
this is not, is
there
this
was
on
a-
the ocean?
there was a lake
on
here.
Branderville.
I think for time wise on the house and the location, I think it also matters how much, because if you know this house is going to be, if it's the only house on sale for the entire lot or the entire road or the street or whatever, you know, I mean, there's going to be more chances of that house going quickly. So in some defense, it's a little bit of a challenge for Jonathan and the staging wise, because that's a lot of time too. And then all of a sudden he's halfway through and it's like, oh, the house is already sold and, you know, got offers. And so there's a lot of factors when it comes to certain houses that, you know, if you're going to put that time in.
Yeah.
And it does come in handy too if you do have those sellers who don't want to do anything to the house.
Yeah.
And so then I'll even tell you there have been times I've said, no, we're not going to stage this house for you because it's going to be, you're paying for it as the agent sometimes. It's a waste of money.
Yeah.
Because us putting things in, it's just not going to do anything that's going to help that house sell faster because people are going to automatically look at the photos and be like, well, yeah, that's so much work. The roof's falling in. And
Yeah.
they think that tree in the middle of the living room
Yeah.
is great.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to plug you. We've talked staging. How many houses do you stage in a year?
We did 304 last year.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
So
That's
far,
like one. That's one a day. Not counting your weekends.
we've been just so far this year. We've been doing between 2 and 4 a week. In the last month, it was 4 each week.
Wow. So you're on track for how many this year?
I
you
hope
think?
not.
Yeah.
I don't want.
He's
some
like, I'm
people
hoping we
want
do
to. Some
4.
people want to, like they want to double that number. I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm like,
so you're
I've
cruising
got
at
good work. I'm
300. You're
good.
like,
yeah, I'm good. I'm
300
like,
solid. All right. What's your average days on market for your houses? that you
2
stage?
to 28 days.
2 to 28 days. So less than 30. Anything under 30 is great. That's amazing. But probably 2 to a week is what you're seeing most of the time. And what do I get from J Squared Interiors and Jonathan Miller that I don't get from other staging companies, other than Jonathan Miller?
You know, I don't want to diss anybody, so you put me in a hard spot there because it's like you're going to get a more client-oriented experience because we're going to take time to make sure that home is fully curated. We're not just using materials that are lying around or that we've rejected from our own home or that we found at Goodwill. Sorry, Jared's wife. You know, we're really actually going to the markets. We're buying things that are on trend. We're making sure that it's actually a lifestyle when you walk in. That, like Galen said, you walk in and you're like, okay, I want to live here. You may have the most perfect house in Richmond that you love more than anything, but I want to make you walk into that house and second guess your choice to live in your house right then.
Yeah. Like
like
a love
that.
it or listed scenario, right? You
I'm
wanna
looking
love
at
it and stay.
your Instagram. I love this picture. I mean, this feels like you guys are like TV ready to go. This is
know.
really
I love how you grow the scruff out too. For the,
Yeah, I love
for the-
this.
I see. I know. I
Yeah,
see what
I
you're doing. I see it. And also, have you noticed, Galen, that each time we've had guests, they've had branded clothing on? We had Moxie
Very
Movers had
smart.
the greatest jacket ever. Now this guy's got a J Squared cardigan on.
Moxie Movers came through
Davis
with like
group?
they
You
came
want some
through like a
Studio
Letterman
77
jacket.
hoodies? We got some Studio 77
It's like
hoodies.
it still shows you I'm a little bougie. 'Cause I've still got the cardigan. So it's
He had like a
know.
Letterman. That's awesome.
Man, all right. How do people
Ready,
reach
Set,
you?
Sold, Virginia's award-winning home staging company, top influencer 2018 and 2019, luxury property styling, new construction, vacant model.
Wow.
Man, this guy's on fire. J Squared.
He's good.
So-
Where do we find you?
www.jsquaredrva.com. Fill out the quick quote for. We can get back to you within 24 to 48 hours
Okay.
and tell you how much of an estimate we can put on your home.
Okay.
Extra value, anything you need.
So whether you're an agent or whether you're looking to sell, reach out and find Jonathan. Instagram, where do we find you?
Instagram at jsquaredrva on all platforms.
If they want to call you, you want to give a number out?
804-239-9845.
There it is. That's his work line. Keep in mind, if you call him on a weekend, he's probably not going to call you. But I get that. You got to have your quality time at home.
Work-life balance. I just hit
Exactly.
follow on all of those things just now.
Yeah, so follow him, follow us. We appreciate you listening. If there's something you want to hear about, if there's a subject that you want to learn about, make sure you reach out to us, comment up, post up. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Let us know what restaurants you want us to review. Jonathan, thank you so much for
Thank you
coming
guys
on
so
today.
much for having
It's been
me.
This
awesome.
was an
I love
awesome
learning
one.
about this.
And again, I'm Jared Davis. You can reach me at 804-536-6100, or you can email me at jared@centralvarealty.com.
And I am Galen Parker at 804-274-9016. You can reach me at galen@centralvarealty.com or ownyourhomerva.com.
That's right. And this is RVA Real Estate Podcast. We will catch you next time.
If you have a real estate question you would like to ask Jared or Galen, reach out to them at jared@centralvarealty.com or galen@centralvarealty.com. Who knows? It may even be featured on an upcoming episode.